a lovely day it's been. The weather's getting warmer.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Just been lovely. I have a cat on my lap.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, usually we kick them out, but if he's good, they've been really snuggly since I got back from vacation.
And what is this cat's name?
This is Binx.
Binx.
Binx is the one who's been bad.
Is he the one with the teeth?
No, that's Bowie.
Bowie. Okay, Bowie has like...
David Bowie has the teeth. Like, you know how David Bowie has a little bit of a fang? Bowie has a little bit of a fang.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. That was purely coincidental.
Interesting.
But they were named appropriately for damn sure.
And Binx is named after Jar Jar.
Nope, never.
It's your favorite Star Wars character.
Absolutely not. Actually, I did love Jar Jar Binks whenever I was little.
This can't go out. You can't publish that. People are going to tear you apart online.
I know. No, it's after Thackeray Binks from Hocus Pocus.
Thackeray
Binks.
That is a hell of a name.
I know, right? So his official full name is Thackeray Binks.
No middle name.
That is his middle name. He doesn't have a surname.
Ah.
Yes.
He doesn't have a per name.
He doesn't have a per name.
Interesting. And when are you going to get another cat?
Not for a very long time because I have my hands full and they're perfect. And I wouldn't want to mess up that chemistry that they have.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, they're perfect for each other. Huh, puppy? Nice. Yeah, he's been very lovely. I fell asleep on the couch. And I woke up at 6 a.m. and to this little guy stepping all over me and like nestled up in me. And he just like made a little nest.
Oh, that's
like
lovely.
Nudging me so I could pet him. Just a lovely little guy. But yeah.
I am unable to sleep with Janie in my bedroom, unfortunately.
Why?
Because she treats my head like her personal trampoline.
It's rude.
She jumps up and down on me.
That's so rude.
She jumps up and down on my head. I can't sleep like that. I've tried.
That's really rude.
Rude?
It's really rude of you.
Of who?
Of you. It's really rude of you to not let her use your head as a trampoline whenever she might damn well please. She misses you.
She does.
You lock her out? You lock her out.
I close the door and I lock it because she can open doors.
You lock her out.
I can't. I don't have an option.
Yes, you do.
I don't have an option. I think the audience probably won't agree with my decision making.
Yeah, honestly, sort of poll. Is Dylan a devil?
A devil?
A devil? A devil?
A devil in disguise?
Yes, he is.
Well, I can't help it because I need sleep. I need sleep.
Okay.
Janie doesn't.
I guess. But wouldn't you feel so much more snuggly and rested if you were snuggling your little baby?
You know, I've tried it before. I've left the door open.
How many times have you tried it though? Because you can adjust those behaviors.
3 or 4 times.
You've only tried 3 or 4 times.
I think that's an average number of times.
I completely disagree. That's actually absurd. Absurd. You can adjust those behaviors.
Not with Janie.
Can correct them.
I cannot with Janie.
But you can.
Not to my knowledge. She is completely untrainable.
She was a trash cat.
She was a trash cat. She was a street cat. She still got the street in her.
Yeah.
She fought other cats. She got attacked by cats.
Poor baby.
I brought her into my home. And what does she do? She jumps on my fucking head.
She's used to that life.
Yeah. She thinks I'm the enemy.
Yeah. She is the most lovable cat.
Yeah.
She is.
You cat sat for me how long ago now?
A couple months ago
while I was someplace.
The most lovely, most affectionate cat.
Yeah, I've never met another cat like her. She is truly a blessing.
Yeah.
Except in my bedroom.
That's why it's such a shame. That's why it's so shameful because all she wants is love and affection.
I give her love.
I doubt it.
I give her affection.
It's not enough. Ask Binx. Look at his face.
Binx. He's just completely dazed. I've never seen a look on a cat's face like that before.
Yeah, he's a little baby.
Man.
Sorry. Enough about my cats. What else? What else is new? What else is going on with
You just came back from a cruise.
I talked about that, though. Didn't I? Like,
not really.
An episode ago. 2 episodes ago.
My memory doesn't go back that far.
Okay, yeah, I got back on a cruise. It was really fun.
Did you go through the jungle that you were planning to go through? The forest? Did you zip line?
So we actually didn't get to zip line. The power went out on that.
On the zip line?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, yes. That entire part of the island had a power outage. So anyone who had like a tram or any type of thing like that had to have their excursions
power
canceled.
outage. Did you plug in your enormous fucking water flosser? Sorry, I was in the bathroom before this episode. Your water flosser looks like
that's a normal water flosser. I don't know what
something
you're
that
saying.
would be used for like what is it, like
Teeth?
sandblasting?
What do you mean? It's
like
literally a normal size. What are you talking
It's
about?
pretty huge.
It's literally not. It's literally not. What do you mean?
Right.
What's huge about it?
I've always had a handheld water flosser.
You have a handheld water flosser?
Yes.
I didn't know that they came like that. How does it floss with the water?
You just put the water in the bottom bank, and then you put it in your mouth and you floss your teeth with it.
Doesn't feel like enough water to do the flossing.
Well, yours is assembled sort of like a backpack that you put onto yourself.
It is not a backpack. This is dramatic. This is
a pressure washer.
This is hearsay. This is slander. This is defamation.
So the zip line wasn't working.
No. No, zipline wasn't working. We used it to go on a hike.
Yeah.
I had banana ketchup.
Okay.
They use bananas a lot in that area in the Caribbean. It's a big part of their culture and their food culture.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the things I really liked about it in general, I sounded like I was dying. One of the things I liked about it was that it reminded me a lot of New Orleans. And I love New Orleans. And in fact, that's where a lot of the culture comes from. And they even said that. But where we were traveling to, they speak French Creole, which is what they speak in Louisiana, in New Orleans, which is really interesting.
Huh.
But yeah, so they use bananas like potatoes. So if you think of a banana, whenever it is green and it's not ripe yet and it doesn't taste sweet, it just tastes like dense, I guess. It tastes very similar to a potato whenever it's in that state. So they use it in like instead of like a potato salad, they had banana salad.
Okay.
They use it to make like condiments like banana ketchup. It's very popular over there. And they also use bananas whenever they are ripe. So we also had like so freaking good. It was this banana ice cream dessert with like a biscuit cookie base. So freaking good. Guys, have you ever had banana milk?
No.
Guys, okay, let me know if you remember banana milk. Okay, so you'd go
All right.
You'd go into a gas station.
Which gas station?
Any gas station.
Sunoco? Sunoco?
Sonico?
Sunoco?
It's like when you said Naruto. Remember that?
Oh. Yeah, I say Naruto. People kick my ass for it.
Naruto.
People honestly kick my Happy Meal ass for saying that. And I really can't take it back.
As
I
they
just say it
should.
that way.
Yeah, that's I don't have the word. I don't even watch it and I know how to pronounce it.
It's Naruto, in case people were wondering.
Yeah. Just
the only other way to say it.
Exactly. What were we talking about?
Talking about banana milk.
So banana milk. Sunoco. You can go to a Sunoco.
Yeah.
Or any other gas station. Really. Actually, better. Don't go to the chains. Don't go to a Wawa. Don't go to a Sheetz. And this is the only time I'll tell you to not go to a Sheetz. But it would be back in the 90s or the early 2000s when I was alive.
Sorry, did you say when you were alive?
Yeah, when I was alive.
I've never heard that phrase before.
I wasn't alive in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I was alive in the early 2000s.
Instead of being born, you were alive.
I were alive. I were alive. We're alive.
We're rolling off that banana milk right now.
Gosh. Okay, anyway, all this to say...
Smashed the banana milk.
Fucking banana milk. I can't even get it out. Okay, so you go to a gas station, and next to the milk, they'd have a bunch of different varieties. They have chocolate milk, they have strawberry milk.
Yeah.
Well, they had a Looney Tunes collection of milk. You've never seen this?
You're looking at me like I should be excited.
You should be!
No, I've never seen this.
It was incredible! It was like the best thing ever. And if you try to look it up, there aren't that many images of it. So, like, it feels like one of those, like, Mandela effects.
Yeah, this sounds like a dream you had.
It sounds like it, but it's not, I promise.
I don't remember ever seeing Looney Tunes milk in a variety of different flavors.
Well, that's the thing. You have to go to a gas station. Did you go to a gas station?
I had a very sheltered upbringing.
Okay, so no.
I wasn't allowed to go to gas
The
stations.
answer is no. See, usually I would get chocolate milk at a gas station for a road trip. And then that's where we found these Looney Tune milks. And they had different flavors. There was like a Bugs Bunny one. The Tasmanian Devil one was chocolate milk. But we didn't ever get that one because you got Gallagher's milk if it was chocolate. Bugs Bunny was vanilla, and then Porky Pig was probably strawberry.
Okay.
And then Tweety Bird was banana. I would always ask to get the Tweety Bird milk.
Yeah.
And it was my favorite thing ever. And that's what this cake tasted like from the Caribbean. It tasted like the banana milk that I had way back in the States, way back whenever it was a wee lass in this gas station. That's what this banana ice cream cake tasted like. And it made me so happy.
Folks, I'm being held hostage here. I haven't been let go in weeks. Somebody please help me.
You can't go until you try it. Anyway.
So it reminded you of your childhood, specifically the Tweety Bird milk.
Yes, the Tweety Bird milk. Exactly. It was so freaking good. I would have it. I almost asked for another piece, and then I was like, maybe I shouldn't do that. Just because I don't want to be that person. But,
to ask for what?
Another piece of the cake.
At the cruise?
It was a restaurant. It was like a restaurant. This was on the island.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Was this somebody's birthday?
No. Oh, sorry. I was so excited about the cake and the banana milk. I didn't even explain. This is on one of the excursions. So we went on a hike. Another highlight of the cruise. Lots of island cats. Basically, every island we went on, there was at least one island cat.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico, island cat. St. Lucia,
island cat.
Multiple island cats. Every other one. Barbados, island cat.
Island cat.
Saint Martin, island cat. Island Cat's the name of this episode. But yeah, it was incredible. So we went on this hike, and it was, honestly, I could have done with some more hiking. It was one of those hikes where you had to really like wait for everybody.
Oh, to catch up.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
a lot of grandmas.
Yes. So there's on the excursion, it specifically says like, be mindful of like how active you are and whatnot. And I realized that people think that they're much more active than they actually are. Mm-hmm. And
well, you were there with your inhaler.
I took one puff and I chugged my way up.
That was it? That's all you needed?
No, I was always in the front.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't a very long hike either. Well, so that was the other thing. People were like huffing and puffing, and I'm like, we're just getting started. We're just beginning. It was 45 minutes round trip.
You brought this same energy that you have now to the hike.
I did.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's go, people. Let's go.
That's incredible.
There's island cats and hikes and things to see. And then afterwards, they treated us to some Creole food. Mm-hmm. And then they also had like, we went to a waterfall. It was really, really beautiful. And then we went to an actual restaurant that used to be a sugar mill. And that's where we had this buffet with the banana ketchup and the banana salad and this wonderful banana cake.
That's a wonderful banana cake.
A banana cake.
Now,
yeah.
Was that the highlight of your trip, the banana foods?
Honestly, yeah. One of my favorite things that I ate, and we had so much food on the cruise. So. Yeah,
what was the cruise food like?
It was really good. Like, really, really good. I have to say. Like, there was at least 5 restaurants on the cruise that you could go in. It was like an all-inclusive resort. Yeah. You could make reservations for the restaurants, or they had the galley where you could just, like, different stops, like a cafeteria almost. Yeah. Tacos, handhelds, pastries, French toast, burgers, all-day breakfast. They had boozy popsicles. They had sushi. I could keep going.
Keep going.
That's all I have.
I can keep going, but I can't and I won't. I remember going on a cruise. The only thing that I remember eating were just a lot of glizzies.
What's a glizzy?
You don't know what a glizzy is?
No.
It's either a handgun or a hot dog.
I did know what a glizzy was.
Yeah, just choking down a lot of glizzies.
Yeah. They had those.
They did.
Pretzels and milkshakes. That was in a different part of the boat.
Wow. I mean, it sounds like you had a wonderful time.
I did. I ate a lot of food.
Wonderful.
It was amazing.
Lovely. Was that so? The highlight of the trip was just the culinary experience that you enjoyed.
Honestly,
all the different kinds of banana confectionaries.
All the different kinds. There was two.
Okay.
Just 2.
Please forgive my mistake.
Yeah. How dare you? That was really rude.
I'm a rude guy.
But yeah, it was fun. I'd go on it again. I think if I went again, I'd probably go to like Alaska or something.
Alaska?
Yeah. One of the things that we found was more difficult was we like whenever we travel in general. We'd like to really like adventure and like go and like see lots of things. And you couldn't really do that with the islands because unless you paid for excursions or unless you paid to like taxi across the island, which I'm not entirely comfortable with for safety reasons.
Sure.
And also it was expensive.
Yeah.
So the ship ports are like pretty far away from everything else. It's like fun. Mm-hmm. So I think the closest walk that we had to a beach in general was like 45 minutes one way. It was longer than the hike because the hike was 45 minutes round trip.
Wow.
So yeah, just for like some context. So it took a while to like for us to walk to get to a beach, and then like we're not I'm not a beach person anyway, so I was like, I'm good to just like chill on the cruise. I just want to see the sights and stuff.
Yeah, I'm not much of a beach person myself. No. I usually prefer camping most of the time.
I don't like the dirtiness of a beach, and I don't like the things are on my feet when I don't know what they are.
Camping is quite. Oh, I see.
What?
Things on your feet that you don't know what they are on the beach?
Yeah, in the ocean.
In the ocean.
Yeah, I wear water
seaweed,
shoes.
algae, jellyfish, sharks.
Ain't none of that.
Dolphins.
No.
Fish.
And not just that, but like that, like where we were, not that it wasn't a clean beach, but like there could be glass. There could be, and just like here, like there could be glass. Mm-hmm. Except the difference is I might not be inoculated for things over there, or I'm on a cruise, you know? I want to be a little bit safer, not risk it for the biscuit like I would here.
Yeah. Now, I have never been a huge fan of beaches either, partially because they can be a little bit dirty, and I don't like warmth.
Yeah.
Don't like the sun. Hate summer and spring. Wish it could be fall and winter forever.
Spring is the best.
Spring is the best. That's your take?
Yes, that's the correct take. It's the shortest season, and it's the best season. It's not too hot. It's chilly enough where you just need a light jacket. But also, you can do more activities outside.
Well, spring has the weakest aesthetic, I would say, out of the
I
seasons.
would disagree. It has the strongest aesthetic.
Really? What is the aesthetic of spring outside of Easter?
What do you mean? Things are blooming. The flowers are in bloom. It's beautiful. After literally half the year is gray and dirty and dingy, and you know there's snow and shit and ice and slush. Now you have greenery and flowers and all this beautifulness and nature, and you can enjoy it and you can walk around, and it's just rebirth and rejuvenation.
I would agree with all of that. I would say, however, that the other seasons have stronger overall aesthetics.
Disagree.
And vibes.
Summer's the weakest.
Summer is not the weakest. I would say summer is one of the stronger ones.
I would completely disagree.
People go crazy about summer.
People are jackasses.
How many people?
All of them.
Wow.
All of them.
Hear that, folks?
You're all jackasses.
No! We're losing listeners! Susan, come back! Susan is a big summer fan, and he just fucking destroyed that relationship.
Yeah.
You nuked it with a Predator missile.
What can I say?
Why?
What can I say? Feeling feisty today. Talking about my banana milk.
I'm sitting here and I'm out of breath.
Yeah.
Hey, folks.
Hey.
Welcome to My Existential Crisis.
The podcast where we talk about all the things that make us question our entire sense of self. My name is Madison Epley.
And my name is Dylan Berger.
Okay. Dylan, I've got an interesting story for you today.
I'm very interested to hear it.
I have a story that doesn't really have an answer to it.
Okay.
So I have both sides of the story, and it's really going to be up to you to decide what you think happened.
An unsolved mystery.
Yes. But it's not necessarily a mystery.
Okay.
That's the thing. It's just a death. A mysterious death.
A solved death.
A solved death.
Great.
We know that the person's dead.
Yes. This has been confirmed.
That has been confirmed, yes.
Uh-huh.
And
are they okay?
No.
They're just a little shaken up, right?
Just a little. So the reason it's so mysterious and why it's not a mystery is because it is both solved and unsolved in 2 different jurisdictions.
Oh.
So there's lots of speculation and back and forth in this case. This is the death of Tina Watson. And I did tease it a little bit in the last episode. I made a little pun unintentionally about diving into something, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about diving. A diving trip gone wrong.
Folks, don't dive. It's just like, it's fun, but just don't do it.
Have you done it?
I have avoided it at all costs my entire life.
Avoided it? Have people like enticed you? Have sirens called you to dive?
They have, and I have always said no.
Yeah.
Because diving is just bad news. You are going to get what is it? Pressure sickness?
The bends.
The bends.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to run into some kind of wild marine animal. You are going to get stuck or run out of oxygen or get left behind on a boating trip.
Yeah. Anything else we should be wary of?
I have so many other things, but please continue.
Well, those are all great things to consider. Things we will be talking about.
Yeah.
But first, my sources: Wikipedia, The Guardian, ABC News, Medium, The Herald Sun, and BBC. All right. So just for some first little background, we're talking about Christina May Watson, or Tina, as everyone called her. She was actually born in West Germany on February 13th, 1977, before relocating to the U.S. as a baby, where she was adopted. On January 24th, 1980, when she was 3.5 years old, and she was adopted by Tommy and Cindy Thomas. Tommy Thomas.
Tommy Thomas?
You heard that correct.
That was
Tommy
his
Thomas.
God-given name?
Right? So she grew up with her adopted family in Walker County, Alabama, a good Southern girl, with her youngest sister before moving to Birmingham. And this is where she met David Gabriel Watson, referred to as Gabe by his friends. Want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
David Gabriel is David's name.
Really?
I just realized that right now.
That's
wild.
wild.
I said it out loud.
That's his middle name?
Yeah. Gabriel.
Oh, sheesh. We should have him on the pod right now.
Right? So, guys. So here, it might be a foreshadowing.
Of what?
This is a honeymoon trip we're talking about.
Oh, my God.
So David Gabriel, or Gabe, as we'll refer to him by, met Tina while they were students at the University of Alabama. So Tina was actually already engaged.
There's a university in Alabama?
Yeah, I know, right?
Wild.
My mom actually used to work at the bank next to the University of Alabama.
Really?
Fun fact, next to the frat houses. Anyway.
There are a lot of parallels in this story, huh?
Yeah. I didn't realize these before I started doing it. I'm a little afraid.
If you continue the story and finish it, it happens in real life like a Goosebumps book.
Oh, no! Oh,
Man.
no! So Tina was actually engaged to somebody else at the time, but Gabe had set his sights on her, and he would not take no for an answer. He asked her out over and over, but Tina would continue to remind him of this little issue that stood in their way, the ring on her finger. And he was just very persistent in general, but ultimately he did win her over. They eventually found themselves at the same New Year's Eve party, and it seemed like the stars just aligned. Tina had just broken off her engagement, and she was finally ready to jump back into the dating scene. And she was smitten with Gabe. She told her adoptive father, Tommy, of this nice man that she had met at the university. She described Gabe as funny and a little weird and a real gentle giant.
Oh.
The two started dating, and soon enough, Gabe was asking Tina's dad, Tommy Thomas, for her hand in marriage.
Tommy Thomas.
But Tommy's response to Gabe asking for Tina's hand in marriage wasn't necessarily a resounding yes. He had some hesitations. Notably, they weren't together for too long. She was previously engaged to somebody else, like just maybe we slow down a little bit. Tommy wasn't the biggest fan of Gabe, but Gabe, being the real go-getter that he was, didn't take no for an answer, and he asked Tina for her hand in marriage anyway, and she said yes.
You hear this a lot with old love stories of the guy being persistent.
Yes.
It's kind of I don't know what you would say about that. kind of a red flag.
It is. No, it is.
It's something that
no means no.
public opinion has changed on over the years. It's
Yes.
because less romantic now.
Yeah. It used to be like, oh, like hard to get and all this and that, and like you really have to like try to pursue and win me over. But like, should you need to be won?
Yeah, I have a female friend who has been texted by the same person probably like 24 times. And let me tell you what, that is persistent, but it isn't necessarily...
It's creepy.
Yeah, the right thing to do.
That's happened to me before. It's not endearing. It's not flattering. It's just, please leave me alone. I'm not interested. It's at first it's like, oh, thanks, but no thanks. And then second time it's like, thank you, but no thank you. The third time it's like, okay, no, but like I'm good.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, please stop.
When did this take place? What year?
Can't even recall. So many times in my life.
No, this story.
Oh.
When did this story take place?
I thought you meant me. The early 2000s.
2000s, okay.
Yes, early.
I thought it would have been earlier.
Well, they grew up in like the 80s.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
But yeah, they didn't. College would be the 2000s. So now that they're engaged, Tina and Gabe, they jumped headfirst into wedding planning, and for them, the honeymoon was almost as important as the wedding itself. Tina was really excited to see Sydney, Australia. She was excited to see koalas because she loved animals. She wanted to see the Sydney Opera House. And Gabe was really excited to go diving. Gabe was also a very avid diver. He was very passionate about it, and he was really excited to share one of his passions with his new wife.
I can't repeat enough, folks. Don't dive. You're not meant to be down there. There's a reason why you can't exist down there.
You heard it here first, folks. Listen to Dylan's... There's so many names. Listen to Dylan's wise words.
Please. I'm trying to save your life.
This is a PSA. This is a public service announcement podcast.
So many different kinds of podcasts.
So Tina was very excited about this for Gabe and for their future. But when Tina's parents heard of these plans, they were not happy at all. Because, see, as a child... Tina had been diagnosed with a heart condition that caused abnormal heart rhythm called PSVT.
Oh, my doctor told me I had an abnormal rhythm.
Yeah?
And I just said, I already know.
I already know. Anyway, so diving, like Dylan's been warning everybody here.
Don't do it, folks.
Can be risky for all divers, all novice divers particularly, like Tina would be. Not to mention for those with heart conditions or other medical restrictions. Her parents felt like this was just way too big of a risk to take. But despite her diagnosis and her parents' chagrin, she started to take diving lessons in January 2003 and earned her certificate right before her wedding in October 2003.
Okay.
So she had only been diving for not even a year. Not even a year. And diving is a lot to learn, a lot to know. It's very technical.
You're basically putting yourself in a suit with a giant tank on your back. You're throwing yourself into the water. Who knows how deep?
Very deep.
And what? You're just going to get yourself out of it by swimming?
Yep. Apparently.
Ridiculous.
I would never dive. I would not dive.
Pisses me off.
Pisses me off.
Listen, if you're going to dive, I'm going to come in after you. All right? I'm going to pull you out
Dylan will,
by your scruff with my teeth.
The only time Dylan is going to dive is to dive in after you and beat you up for diving.
I'm going to punch you really slow in the water.
Yeah.
You'll see the punches coming, but you won't be able to avoid them.
Yep.
All right, folks.
So she got her certification, and Gabe was already a very avid diver, to the point where he actually even earned his qualified certificate for a rescue diver.
Oh.
Yes. So he has lots of experience. And he actually had experience with rescue diving in Oak Mountain State Park. So by the time that their wedding had...
Sorry, rescue divers are divers who rescue other divers, right?
Actually, I don't know. That's a good question.
Probably.
I'd imagine so, right?
This job is probably in high demand.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm not going to talk about it anymore.
Well, no, that's important. It's important.
Oh, I see.
It is. So you're not actually all that off. So
Okay.
by the time
I'll take it.
that their honeymoon had come around, Gabe had completed 55 dives and Tina had completed 5. So before they left for their honeymoon, Tina had one more request for her father.
Tommy Thomas?
Father Thomas.
Father Thomas.
Indubitably.
Yes.
She wanted to talk to her father about switching Gabe over to her new life insurance beneficiary and also increasing that life insurance. See, Tommy was her sole beneficiary, as is pretty common for kids if they don't have anybody else. Usually goes to like a parent or a sibling or something like that. But Tommy was like, how about we just hold the horses there for a second? This is moving awfully fast. How about you just tell Gabe that
he's like, I want the cash.
Yeah, he's like, I want it. It's mine. I put you through college.
Yeah, how am I supposed to make that money back?
Yeah. So he's like, how about you just tell Gabe that you did and you sorted it all out. But really, we're just gonna discuss it a little bit more whenever you get back. Just don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So she agreed. She told Gabe, like, yeah, we figured it out. Like, it's all sorted now. But neither of them knew that Tina would never return from her trip to talk about that later on.
A moment of silence.
Moment of silence.
For the, and this is a correct statistic, for the 45,000 divers who die every year diving in the United States alone.
Is that for real?
Yeah, 45,000.
Why do you know this?
45,000 divers in the U.S., 89,000 in the Caribbean, 110,000.
You're just saying shit
in
now.
Europe.
Okay, this is not true.
Close to 1 million divers. Yeah, they die terribly.
Wait, is that an actual stat though?
No.
Okay, damn it to hell. Damn it. So, Tina and Gabe, they planned the scuba trip in the Great Barrier Reef 11 days after they were married. And it was going to be this perfect, picturesque vacation. They were going to do all these fun things, these beautiful turquoise waters. And they decided that they were going to do this very popular dive, but it also was a very challenging dive. It was on the SS Yongala, which was this wreck they were going down. And notably, they chose this challenging and potentially dangerous trip, even though Gabe himself had limited experience in the open ocean. And Tina had never dived below 9 meters, which is 27 feet. So, with all that information, they still decided to go forward with this. At 9 a.m. on October 22nd, the diving company briefed the divers and everybody started to don their equipment, prep for their dive. Gabe and Tina brought a lot of their own equipment, so the company really only provided them with air tanks. Notably, the dive company offered an orientation and a guided dive with a dive master twice, but the couple refused each time. The couple, along with 4 fellow divers, headed deep into the ocean, but moments later, the newlyweds resurfaced. Gabe was immediately having trouble with his diving computer, which is like a device worn around your wrist, like a watch.
Yeah.
And it helps to check things like depth, time, oxygen levels. So it's arguably very important that it's functioning correctly. So Gabe fiddled with the batteries a little bit, considered it fixed, and the pair dove back in the water. As the pair started to dive deeper into the water, Gabe recalls that this is when trouble began. He claims that Tina started to panic. They had been swimming against the current, and if that wasn't difficult enough, the undercurrents were much stronger than she would be used to.
Yeah, after a certain depth, the ocean just pulls you down instead of lifts you up.
Exactly. It does whatever the ocean does and just is this massive body of water that is just unregulated.
Yeah. It happened to me once when I was a kid.
Did it actually?
I was in a pool. I have a, not in the ocean, but I was in a pool. I have a very clear memory of sinking to the bottom of the pool and standing on the bottom and pushing my hands against the wall and looking up at the light filtering in through the glassy surface of the water above me.
Is this where your fear of diving began?
I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really poignant.
episodes helped me work through a lot of trauma. But yeah, I don't remember what happened after that, but I survived.
I see that. I'm really glad that you did.
Yeah.
I was really worried for a second.
It's a twist. You've been podcasting with a fucking ghost this whole time.
Honestly, that would make the podcast.
That'd be a great
That
true
would be
crime
amazing.
podcast. What would you call it? Concept.
Yeah, like a scripted podcast.
Your mouth isn't working today.
I can't talk. Ugh. So in general, with all of this going on, her experience as a diver, or inexperience rather, was finally catching up. Gabe later said in an interview, she was excited. I was excited. We were ready to go. I kind of figured we're on vacation. They're going to be very easy, calm, nice, pretty dives. As soon as we let go from the anchor line, we were moving quite a bit. It was definitely not what I was expecting, and neither was Tina. Gabe says that Tina looked panicked as she signaled that she wanted to resurface, and doing so, reached for his oxygen mask and accidentally knocked his regulator off of his face. Quote from Gabe, I stuck out my right hand, she grabbed it with her left, and we both started swimming back to where we came. I turned to her, grabbed my inflator hose and motioned to her, You know
1 and 2 divers explode underwater. They just suck in too much oxygen and they explode.
Is that true?
You know that happens?
1 and 2 divers?
Happened to me.
Yeah. You know how I know? I lived it.
Yeah.
Went through it.
Gosh.
So he grabbed his inflator hose, motioned to her, fill it up thinking she's going to understand. Put some air in your buoyancy compensator and we'll start floating up. Nothing happened from the inflator hose. That was whenever I realized, where this isn't good. We're in trouble. So I reached out and grabbed a hold of the BC strap right there, and I just pulled her in. And then I turned and started heading back to the anchor rope. I was scared to death, and all of a sudden I just felt this whack across my face, and my mask got turned to the side of my face. This is whenever she accidentally knocked the hose off. Gabe then let go of Tina to replace his mask, he said. And when he turned around to look, he said that Tina was about 10 feet down and sinking rapidly. Quote, she was face up and had her arms out. She was reaching out for me to grab a hold of her. I just kind of turned my head and gave a few kicks down to see if I could grab her. And she was still out of arm's reach. And that, I just decided I have to go find somebody. So as he was trying to put this oxygen mask back on, he lost his new wife. And he decided...
The way you phrased that. Hey, I say the oxygen mask, but I lost my new wife.
Lost the new wife,
Sheesh. Oh, gosh.
Weight off my back. Notch out of my shoulder.
Just the image of her sinking and just, reaching her arms up as she sinks into the abyss.
Speaking of, there's a picture of it.
There's a picture?
And it's actually, yes. Another diver took a picture of her sunk to the bottom of the floor.
Wow, that other diver is not a good person.
Oh no, it wasn't meant to. It was trying to take a picture of his friend.
Oh, I see.
And she happened to be in the background.
Oh, he was just like, oh, perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
This woman's dying right in front of me. Kodak moment.
Anyway, so he decides, I kicked a few times. I got to go get help. So he resurfaces. And at around 10:30 a.m., Tina had apparently lost consciousness, sank to the bottom, 30 meters deep, which is 98 feet below the water surface. And this all happened within 2 minutes of beginning the dive. 2 minutes. I believe that includes whenever he resurfaced to fix his little watch.
Oh, new record.
So very quick.
Yeah.
So Gabe broke the surface. He's calling for help from the dive lead, Wade, our hero. He didn't actually save her, so.
Okay, not really our hero.
No, but he does testify.
Okay.
Anyway, panicked, Gabe said that his wife was sinking and she needed help. So Wade, the dive lead, found Tina lying face up on the ocean floor, which is what we have a picture of.
Yeah.
And worked very quickly to get her back to the boat, all of which took 90 seconds. So 2 minutes from the beginning of the dive to her sinking to the bottom, 90 seconds for him to go down, grab her, and come back up.
Gosh.
Very, very fast. So when they resurfaced, they went to the rescue boat, Wade and the other dive lead and Tina, trying to resuscitate her. They started to perform CPR. Gabe went back to the main boat.
He's tired.
He's tired. Had a long day.
Yeah.
After
he put a few kicks in.
more than 10.
More than 10.
More than 10. A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. So after 41...
He's stalkered.
What?
He's stalkered.
He's tuckered out.
Yeah.
We'll see how tuckered he gets.
Okay.
After 41 minutes of the crew trying to do what they could to resuscitate Tina, she was pronounced dead at 11:21 a.m. The following morning, Gabe called his parents
okay, I see.
to tell them about the tragic story that happened with Tina and how he lost his new bride. Then he asked them...
Didn't really lose her. Know where she is. But
then Gabe, asked his parents if they would call Tina's parents to tell them the news. Because he said that he just couldn't bear to tell her father that.
Yeah.
The next day, an autopsy was performed by a forensic pathologist, and the findings were a little bit odd. She had no bruises on her, other than those she had sustained from the diving crew performing CPR on her. She also had an air embolism, which is caused by air bubbles in an artery or a vein. And while scuba diving, an air embolism can occur if you hold your breath for too long or if you head to the surface too quickly. The pathologist ruled the cause of death as drowning. Due to the unexpected nature of Tina's death and the implausible and multiple conflicting statements given by Gabe, the death was investigated by the state coroner's office. Again, this is in Australia, as a reminder. So they do things a little bit differently than here. So, as is typical, an inquiry was held trying to look into what happened here, like a formal investigative inquiry. But at this point, Gabe had already left Australia and declined to return. So he did not testify during the inquest. Instead, he gave evidence through his lawyers. And during this inquest, prosecutors submitted evidence that Gabe's story contradicted the record of his actions that were stored by his dive computer, which was on his wrist, which is monitoring his how deep you go, which is monitoring your oxygen levels, things like that.
How many kicks you get.
How many kicks you do.
Yeah.
Precisely. They suggested the possibility that Gabe turned off Tina's regulator and held her until she was unconscious, then turned the air back on and let her sink before surfacing himself. To prove this theory, they reenacted various scenarios conducted by police divers to figure out what exactly could have happened so quickly with this dive. This was also where Tina's father Tommy, claimed that Gabe asked Tina, hey, remember Gabe asked Tina to increase her life insurance and make him the sole beneficiary? Well, he didn't end up doing that, but he asked about it. So to date, Gabe had given almost 16 different accounts of what happened next.
Wow.
Which is the most damning. The sheer amount of inconsistencies in him trying to recall what happened in his wife's final moments.
It's almost impressive. It's that many variations
honestly,
on the same story.
It is. With no overlaps.
Yeah.
Or like at least significant differences where they don't overlap.
Right.
It is impressive. His fellow divers remember his strange behavior as he watched the team work on his wife. Remember, he was on the main boat while they were on the rescue boat. They claimed that he only appeared to be mildly upset while his wife was being resuscitated, and he was asking people for hugs.
Gosh.
There are a few occasions where asking for hugs is appropriate, but I'm not sure that this is one of them.
Hey, man, I just killed my wife.
I just need a hug.
Can I have a hug? I could really use a hug right now. I just kicked my wife into the depths of the abyss and she died.
Could really use a hug right now.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
on the flip side of that,
that's wild.
On the flip side of that, I am going to try to play devil's advocate as much as possible because I honestly don't know the answer to this one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it... I want to say that it's a tragic accident, but some of these things are a little too coincidental. A little too fishy.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like an accident at all.
Yeah. So on the flip side, people are saying, hey, he's asking for hugs. But Gabe is like, maybe he could have been just trying to give them space to work. People were questioning why he didn't go rush over to the rescue boat. Maybe, what could he do logically in that moment when to give them space?
All I could do was hug.
Well, he said later on that wasn't something that I could handle. He didn't ever want to see one of his loved ones being worked on like that. And he said that he ended up just collapsing onto the fellow divers because he was devastated. So perhaps the divers are like, yo, he's asking for hugs. Maybe he just collapsed into them from his devastation.
Yeah.
Those are the two sides of the story that we're getting in that instance.
Okay.
So the next thing that was suspicious, some of the divers saw that Gabe kind of gave Tina a bear hug shortly before she started to sink. And this is where prosecutors say that he turned off the air, bear hugged her until she couldn't breathe, and then turned it back on before she sank.
This man is hug crazy.
Yes, he is hug crazy. In Gabe's side of the story, he was trying to hold on to her and try to take her, and this was before his air regulator came off himself.
Oh,
he
I
was
see.
trying to fix it, and then he let go of her.
Yeah.
And that's how that happened. Another damning piece of evidence, though, was this picture. The diver's diving camera happened to capture Tina's unconscious body laying on the ocean floor, which was really key to the investigation, proving that the timeline didn't quite make sense and line up with what Gabe was telling. Within 2 minutes, remember, this all happened very, very quickly. Mm-hmm. She was suddenly unconscious. What could have happened in such a short amount of time for her to go completely limp and not be like fighting for oxygen?
Yeah.
I honestly don't know how diving works. Maybe that is simple enough, but it is suspicious enough to raise suspicions. The other thing that diving leaders found was particularly odd was that Gabe and Tina refused to go on this orientation dive before taking on this very tricky dive for both of them. It was challenging for both of them, not just Tina. Mm-hmm. And this probably would have saved her life if she had gone on it. Mm-hmm. But she said she is dead. We can't ask her any questions. That sounded so heartless. Damn.
That's cold.
People said that she felt really pressured by Gabe. She trusted him a lot. And, she wanted to make him happy and do what he wanted to do. So if he said no to the orientation, I'm sure she trusted her husband enough to know what he was doing as a rescue diver.
Sure, yeah. It's his profession.
Precisely. People have also claimed that Gabe had insisted on adding weight to Tina's equipment, which is usually only used to help divers descend and does not usually cause drowning. Tina only needed about 8 pounds of weights, but by the time Gabe was done, she had about 20 pounds of weights on her. Now, Gabe's side of the story is that he didn't put the weights on her. The people who were helping her get packed were putting the weights on her. Lastly, maybe most importantly, remember, Gabe was a rescue diver. He was a certified rescue diver. That's what he did.
And he couldn't even rescue his wife.
Yeah, it's a little suspicious.
He could just give her one big hug before she died.
Yeah, kinda. And I don't have anything else to say to that on that side of the story. Gabe says that he just panicked and said that he didn't feel 2 things. One, he said that he had an ear problem that prevented him from diving deeper.
Okay.
And also that there was nothing in his training as a rescue diver, quote, about how to get somebody in trouble to the surface.
Man, they trained me for everything. They didn't train me how to get my wife.
Yeah, right?
The specific situation.
Yeah, so there were also reports, again, that Tina was very nervous about the dive. She felt pressured by her husband to take up the hobby to begin with. Let alone the challenging dive for their honeymoon, but she did trust her husband. All of this is hearsay. How do we know it's true? But then Gabe's behavior after he came back from Australia was a little suspicious as well. He was showing pictures from the trip after Tina's funeral when one of Tina's friends noticed one picture that really gave her goosebumps. It was a picture of Tina next to a sign that read, "Caution, drowning."
Oh, that's fucked.
Either it was just a really unfortunate coincidence, or he had a very sick sense of humor.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
pretty wild.
Yeah.
Even if you don't plan to drown your wife on a trip,
don't
take a picture of her next to a sign about drowning before you dive.
Like, how about we're just if that's the picture you're showing to friends, maybe reconsider.
Yeah,
considering the way that she did caution drown. Gabe was also caught by police video using bolt cutters to remove flowers that were attached to a chain stake from her grave.
Okay.
I don't know how you explain that.
He just didn't want people leaving flowers on her grave.
I don't know. They were flowers that her parents left on the grave. I don't know if he wanted to change them out. I don't know if he just didn't want them on there. Yeah.
Maybe he wanted to downplay the sympathy that people had for her and her death.
Maybe.
By removing flowers.
I no explanation. No idea. I can't even fathom what the reasoning would be. Even that doesn't seem like reasoning enough for me. But that's just me. What do I know? And then we have some more expert testimonies. One expert diver, who is now rated a master diver, told an Alabama court that the version of the story where the husband...
Wait, they have courts in Alabama?
I know, right? It's crazy. But yeah, so this expert said that there was no plausible way that it could have been the husband. It wasn't plausible that Gabe's face mask was knocked off, and that if his wife was panicking the way that he says that she was, why did she look so serene and unconscious in the water? If she was panicking, why was that the case? There was another doctor who told the court that he saw the husband swim to his wife and thought that Gabe was going to save her, and then he just let her go. There was also a chilling description given by this doctor, Dr. Stutz, of Tina's death. He said that he noticed her because she was in distress, lying flat, face up. She was just floating. I was shocked. She looked like she was in a lot of trouble, clearly. The doctor said that Tina's arms and legs were moving and she wasn't thrashing, but she didn't have enough strength to swim. So that's his side of that story. He said that he watched as this male diver in a black wetsuit went to Tina and put his arms under her armpits. He said, I thought he was trying to save her. And then he let go and she sank. So in 2008, the Australian courts said that they had enough evidence to convict Gabe for the murder. Prosecutors argued back and forth. Ultimately, he was convicted. He pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter and received a 4-year sentence, but he only served 18 months. Naturally, her family was very upset about this, and this was on the claims that when Tina was brought to the surface, her regulator was still in her mouth, her tanks still had air, and tests indicated that no faults were with her equipment. The prosecutor described Gabe as an experienced diver, literally trained in rescuing panicked divers who just allowed his wife to sink to the ocean floor without making any serious attempt to save her. Also, notably, Gabe did not inflate Tina's buoyancy control device or remove her weight belt. Remember that weight belt? And had failed to fulfill his obligations as her dive buddy by not sharing his own alternative air source.
Yeah.
So those were the claims made by the Australian court, which is why he was convicted of involuntary manslaughter.
Yeah, just a series of mistakes. And you can't really attribute those to being accidental after a certain point.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe one mistake is an accident, but the series of mistakes like that isn't.
It's crazy.
Accidental.
That's crazy. So Gabe goes back home, and just like Tina's family didn't think that that was enough jail sentence, America did too. So they tried to bring it over here to court and charge him as well. It would not be double jeopardy because it happened in 2 different places. Despite producing the charges, it was really down to financial constraints, which led to the case going nowhere. The case ended up being dismissed on account of there not being enough evidence. And there wasn't enough evidence because the prosecutors couldn't afford to produce key witnesses and have them shipped all the way from Australia. The judge had multiple pieces of evidence, but he wouldn't admit them into court because none of the people who were admitting them could be cross-referenced on the bench because they couldn't get here.
Okay.
This was also before technology was really prevalent in courtrooms like we see today, just as a note. Whereas this might have been able to have been prosecuted if it were today. So, for example, some of the pieces of evidence that they had, the police had videoed a reenactment of the dive with the advice of local oceanographers, and it really cast doubt on Gabe's account of events. Again, wouldn't admit it. Police also uncovered an email that Gabe had sent the dive operator 5 months before the honeymoon, inquiring about the diving conditions. The employee said that because Tina was an inexperienced diver, she should either take the orientation dive or not dive at all. Obviously, that did not happen. Gabe said that they didn't know anything about the dive before they had went, but this was used as evidence, but couldn't be submitted because they couldn't talk to the actual person.
Right.
They also refused to allow Tina's father to testify about that insurance policy being increased. It makes sense because that's kind of hearsay. And ultimately, wasn't enough evidence. So, where are we now? Gabe lives in the U.S. with his new wife, Kim Lewis, who surprisingly looks a lot like Tina. It's been noted pretty much everywhere how similar she looks to Tina. And he actually married her while facing charges for murder in Australia.
That is crazy.
Yes. I will say, though, it was about 4 or 5 years before charges were brought. This happened in 2003. The trial was when they brought charges to him in 2008.
What does her life insurance policy look like? Is it good?
Apparently it's not that great because she's still alive. But yeah, so 5 years. There was 5 years, so there was a significant amount of time in between the two. Although she was familiar, they met in high school. So we don't know if they were in contact before marriage, before the honeymoon, after the honeymoon. We don't know when they got in contact again, but it's still a little sussy-wussy.
Mm-hmm.
And they are currently living in the house that Gabe bought with Tina.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. Now, I have to say there is another diving medical expert who examined the case and was prepared to testify for the defense. He said that in the context of diving accidents, Tina's death was neither mysterious nor suspicious. She was doing a dive to a depth that she had never been to before, in conditions she never experienced before. All of this fits together as a very common drowning incident. So yeah, there's a lot of arguments on both sides. I don't really know how to put it, but it's interesting to say the least.
He did it, for sure.
He did it?
I mean, yeah. It's obvious, right?
I don't know.
You don't think so?
I don't know. I go back and forth. I don't know enough about diving to know. I don't know enough about diving to feel comfortable thinking about, like, is it preposterous within such a short amount of time to fall in I don't know how those things work. So maybe the air embolism really did something. I don't. Maybe that was the cause of death. The cause of death was drowning, though. I don't know.
He was a rescue diver who couldn't do his one thing that he does in his career to save his wife because of an ear issue.
Yes.
Yet he still chooses to dive.
That's true.
Despite the ear issue.
That is very true. That's true. He has an ear issue. He was supposed to go down there anyway.
Yeah.
Hear me out.
And also his really odd behavior after the death.
He did get his rescue diving certificate in Alabama. So
that's pretty funny.
Not to say, but maybe he just had a really shitty teacher.
Gosh.
It's Alabama.
They have diving facilities in Alabama? Oh my God.
Not great ones, that's for damn sure.
Wow.
So yeah, I think that's also legitimately, as funny as that was, I think that's actually what's like in my brain is like they were in Alabama when he got this diving. He got a certificate and had practiced diving in state parks.
He was diving in the creek.
In the creek. He was.
Yeah.
Literally was. He had never experienced an open ocean before.
Yeah.
Neither of them had.
Biggest thing he ever saved was a crawdad. Goodness gracious. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
He did it.
He did it.
Folks, he did it. You know he did it.
I forgot the funniest thing.
Or maybe he didn't, and just accusing just like an innocent person of killing his wife.
I have to tell you the funniest part of it all.
Oh, what's that?
In multiple instances within these news articles, they kept calling Gabe Watson, quote, an American bubble wrap salesman.
Oh, man.
I just tickled
Is that
me.
real?
Yes. I saw it once and I was like, I did a double take. I was like, what on earth? And then it came up again, and then again, and then again. And I was like, what is happening here?
He's selling loose bubble wrap?
Apparently he was a bubble wrap salesman.
What is he? He's going door to door?
Probably not.
No, he's cold calling about bubble wrap.
Probably. Cold calling. I don't know.
That's how you know he's evil.
Yeah. It's cold calling. Oh, yeah.
Gosh.
Depths of hell.
He's a bubble wrap salesman. Trying to put the pieces together here. He did it, right?
He did.
What do you think? What's your takeaway from this?
I don't know. At first, actually, going into this, I was 100% on board. He did it. And then actually, like, looking into it, I don't know anymore.
The fact that he married a woman so quickly after his wife died.
That is suspicious.
Then moved into the same house.
That is
no sympathy.
Uncomfy. That's uncomfy. I will say though, okay, here's the thing.
The hugs seem very performative.
I go back and forth because yes, him getting married, quote unquote, so quickly after his wife died was a red flag to me. But then also doing the math, it was 5 years. Legit, like 5 or 6 years, because she died in 2003, and then they brought charges in 2008. So give it another year for the trial to actually go forward. 5 or 6 years.
Gotcha.
So I will say, though, that's not a good look when you're on trial for killing your wife that you marry somebody else. So maybe wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah, it's a long
As a
trial.
lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. This is a legal advice podcast.
Gosh. But, that's a kind of a common occurrence among criminals and true crime is people being interested in psychopaths, serial killers, criminals when they're on trial, and trying to date or marry them.
Yeah.
Happens a lot.
An astonishing amount. Actually, I have that as a topic idea to cover sometime.
Really?
I do, because it is insane.
Happened with Ted Bundy.
It happened with... It happened with the Night Stalker.
Richard Ramirez.
Yes.
Yeah.
Richard Ramirez. It happens all the time.
Did not happen with BTK.
Charles Manson happened with him.
Yeah, Charles Manson.
Absolutely. Yeah. Interesting. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
For listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, you can let us know at myexistentialcrisispodcast@gmail.com, or you can send us a message on Instagram and Facebook at MECrisisPod. Maybe eventually Blue Sky by the time this episode goes live, but we'll see. And Dylan, if they want to find you, where can they do so?
Marble Folk.
And me at You Know It. So, thanks, everybody.
All right, folks.
Bye.
Bye.